In the world that we live in today, it sometimes feels like we're always rushing to complete the goals that we set for ourselves or the goals that we are obligated to achieve. There's always a place that we have to go to, attending class, clocking into work, or having assigned events in our daily routine, and it becomes a cycle. For instance, I wake up every weekday around 3:30, knowing that I have to get ready to leave within the next hour for a 10-hour shift. I can't do anything within that time frame without knowing that I have to go somewhere or do something, and there's always this urge of trying to rush the day. So there will be a few hours to spare for myself at the end of the day. Then going to bed, preparing to start the cycle again. And even before I started working, school kinda was the same. There was just never really enough time to loosen up, to enjoy the time in this world. Even the weekends slightly become a part of that mentality, with Friday night and Saturday only being the time where we feel relieved because the week ended. But then on Sunday, there's a reminder that tells us that there's a full week ahead of us. It seems as if we can never really escape from our schedules to de-stress without knowing that it will eventually come back to us, to pull us into this cycle. And as long as we need this thing, it will always hold a place in our agenda, and the social aspect that comes along with it will always affect our personal lives in some form that will keep coming back as a reminder that there's a place that needs to be retained and an image to maintain. And from how I see it, a fragment of that could come from obligated enthusiasm. Showing enthusiasm is quite favored by the majority of people, as it reveals a trait of someone and overall brings a positive vibe to the environment, even if sometimes that energy isn't truly genuine. It becomes like a social norm to show that you have enthusiasm and energy out in public, especially when it comes down to work or school, where people tend to stay together longer. It can affect social understanding and forming familiarity with others, which can set down people's first impression of you and change how they treat you depending on how much feedback you give and how much energy you show when association is needed. In which case, Tanaka proceeds to take a different approach to this hasty and stressful lifestyle that appears to meet with society's standards. He lives his high school life relaxed and carefree, with minimal problems, and only caring about his peaceful and relaxed state of mind, ignoring anything that could initiate extra work for him. High school can sometimes be very stressful, and Tanaka makes the most use of the spare time he has there to feel relaxed and unmindful without having the need to rush anything. He acts how he feels, and in any given situation that he gets involved in, he always tries to sway the situation and dodging anything that could trigger more problems. There is no feeling of obligation, of having the responsibility to solve the problem or satisfying the needs of that particular person. If winning is a hassle, then he will rather lose and move on with his day, since that is seemingly the fastest way to prevent any more recognition towards him, and at the same time it shows that he participated enough to be able to leave those circumstances. He has no image to maintain in public. Tanaka stays true to himself wherever he goes, which is why he's pulled away from the unneeded stress and effort. How he spends his time at school is similar to how he spends his time outside of school. Present is the only time frame that Tanaka looks at. Whatever that is in front of him, he starts without thinking about how it could affect his future, because pondering about it could overall pressure him and prevent the initiation of choice. Unlike Shiriashi, who needs to maintain an image out in public as someone who is considered popular and seen as ideal. People recognize her to be someone that is beautiful and intelligent, and knowing that that's how society views her, thinking about changing to be more genuine to herself can be very difficult and frightening. With the idea that people could change their view of her in the future. This in itself could pause the initiation to take off the mask and go on to be a more stressful lifestyle as more relationships and association is built around this image. The listless Tanaka illuminates that sometimes being lazy and easygoing can be a good thing and make life easier. The routine that he has allows him to be more lax, giving him minimal choices and being easier to decide. Social status and standards become things of neglect, easing the mind of self-observation and ignoring the anxiety that comes along with it. Rather than to get ready for what comes next, live in the moment. There is no rush to get to the future. There is no need to always check the time that is assigned to a certain hour. Tanaka influences that laziness isn't all so bad, and that it's okay to take things slow and enjoy the process.